It's the final week of the NFL regular season. For a lot of teams, their fate is already sealed. But not in the NFC South. Oh no. They save all the good stuff for the very end. We're talking about a division that is so consistently chaotic, so wild, that of course it all comes down to one last winner-take-all game. So let's get into it and figure out how the league's craziest division saved its biggest surprise for last.
All right, we are jumping right into the thick of it, the regular season finale, the Carolina Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and literally everything is on the line. You can pretty much forget everything that happened before this. This one game, this is the entire season right here.
So here's the deal. On one side, you've got the 8-8 Panthers, who are just desperate to get back to the playoffs for the first time in years. And on the other, the 7-9 Buccaneers, the defending division champs who are basically stumbling towards the finish line. For both of them, though, the prize is exactly the same. Win this game, and you are the NFC South champion. It really doesn't get any simpler or more high stakes than that. But here's the thing. This one game isn't some fluke. It's actually the perfect ending for a division that has built its entire identity on being completely, and I mean wonderfully, unpredictable. It's the question we ask ourselves pretty much every single year, right? How on earth does a team with a losing record get to host a playoff game? What is it about these four teams that just creates absolute chaos year in and year out? Well, let's break it down. So ever since the league realigned back in 2002, the NFC South has just been different. It's not just a group of teams. It's a whole philosophy of pure competition. I mean, think about it. It's the only division where every single team has won at least 4 division titles. There are absolutely no easy weeks here. And look, that reputation isn't just a vibe. It's backed up by 2 straight decades of pure statistical chaos. The history here tells an incredible story of parity and, honestly, some outcomes that are just plain bizarre. Now, what's really wild when you look at this is just how balanced it is. Check out those division titles. 7 for the Saints, 7 for the Bucs, 5 for the Panthers, 4 for the Falcons. You won't find that kind of balance in any other division. Every single one of these teams is always a legitimate threat, and that constant pressure from all sides, well, that's the fuel for all this madness. And okay, this is where you really see the NFC South's personality. It is the only division where all 4 teams have made it to the Super Bowl since 2002. It's famous for these worst of first flips. And yeah, it's the division that has not once, but twice sent a champion to the playoffs with a losing record. It's why winning back-to-back titles here is almost impossible. The only thing you can ever count on is chaos. So, with that whole history of chaos as our backdrop, let's zoom back in on the game we're all here for. How do these 2 teams, the Panthers and the Buccaneers, actually match up heading into this do-or-die game? I mean, these teams couldn't be heading in more opposite directions. You've got the Panthers, who are getting hot at the perfect time. Their quarterback, Bryce Young, is playing super clean football, and their ground game is just humming. And then there are the Buccaneers. They're just limping to the finish, having lost 7 of their last 8. Baker Mayfield is running for his life back there, and their offensive line has been a revolving door all season. And here's where the strategy gets really interesting. The Bucs defense, they're really tough right up the gut, led by that monster Vita Vea. But, and this is a big but, the Panthers running back, Rico Dowdle, he does his best work on the outside, averaging an amazing 5.5 yards a carry out there. So what's the perfect way to beat Tampa Bay's strength? You just run around. And this quote right here, it just says it all. This is the Panthers' mindset going in. You're playing a struggling, beat-up team. The game plan is simple. You have to be aggressive. You don't play it safe. You use your momentum to just steamroll an opponent who's already staggering. But hey, this is the NFC South we're talking about. It can't just be a simple win-and-you're-in situation, right? Of course not. The clinching scenarios themselves have this extra layer of weirdness, which is just, it's so perfectly on brand for this division. Okay, so hang with me here. How do the Panthers actually clinch? The easy way is they win or they tie. Boom, done, they're the champs. But this is where it gets weird. In a truly bizarre twist, if the Panthers lose, but the Falcons win their game, Carolina still wins the division because of a 3-way tiebreaker. How crazy is that? The only way the Buccaneers can actually win the whole thing is if the Panthers lose and the Falcons also lose or tie. Classic NFC South. So when you boil it all down, after 17 weeks of ups and downs and complete unpredictability, this is what you're left with. 1 division title. 1 game. And that's the beautiful irony of the NFC South. We call it unpredictable, we call it chaotic, But maybe the most predictable thing about it is that it's always going to deliver this kind of meaningful, down-to-the-wire finish. So you gotta ask, in a division that's defined by chaos, is the ending ever really a surprise at all? Whatever happens, you know it's going to be good.